What's today? Today's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm having a fantastic week.
This will be posted on a Friday, though. Yeah, I'm having a great week,
Oh, yeah.
too.
Forgot about that.
Okay, let's talk about what we did. So this week, I've actually been up to a lot. I started app development school for my business because I'm going to design an app for it. I got a tattoo, my sixth one, actually. It didn't hurt at all.
Say what it is.
It's CTRL, like on a keyboard.
Control.
And it means how my dad always tells me to only worry about things I can control. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And what else have I done? Oh, I have a new gym crush. Yeah, I think I've just been working out and doing some school stuff, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see what I have done. I really haven't. Nothing's really changed for me. I've seen a lot of movies. I saw.
Oh, Fast and Furious.
I saw
talk about that.
Guardians of the Galaxy. We both did, and
Yeah.
I loved that movie. That movie
I thought it was
so
pretty good. It was filmed well.
That was my first. It really was.
Yeah.
It was my first Guardians movie.
Really?
Yeah, and I really liked it.
Oh my god.
I like Marvel.
I love Marvel. I've seen all of them.
I really do, but I like it more in the movie theater. I don't know why. I saw that. I saw A Man Called Of. And it was so sweet and so sad. It was really cute. And then we both saw Furious X.
Okay, Fast and Furious, that movie series is my favorite movie series on the entire planet. But that last movie was a disgrace to everything.
So that was my first time ever seeing Fast and Furious.
No.
And it was absolutely terrible.
Don't judge it on that.
I don't want to ever see it.
Go watch Fast 5. And then, because that's the best movie out of all of them, is Fast 5.
It's just terrible. Like, the humor, if I hear a movie that has adults in it talk about TikTok one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
Wait, they said that?
Yes. Like,
When?
some TikTok prank. Why is that, like, the new thing right now when adults always saying, like, TikTok, like, it's just cringy. That movie was so cringy.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was just cringy.
It was not on brand of the Fast and Furious theme whatsoever. Like,
really?
Normally they're, like, very, straight to the point, very, like, action-packed, not
it
so much,
was
like...
very action-packed, but I just didn't...
The rest are more action-packed, and that was, like, a sob story, and I don't want to hear about it.
Really?
Yeah. And the fact that they still have Paul Walker being alive in the movies makes me so uncomfortable. Like, they say that he's just away on, like, doing stuff with his son or something.
That's what they say? They didn't say he died?
No. He's still alive in the movies. Alive in the movies, technically.
I did not know that. See, I really don't know anything about it. I thought Vin Diesel did a good job at acting. So did Jason Momoa.
Who's that? Kevin?
The villain?
Yeah, Kevin from Shameless.
Jason Momoa's in Shameless?
Yeah, he's Kevin.
No, he's not.
He's not in the big family of
no
6.
Way.
He's the neighbors of them.
There's no way Jason Momoa's
Yes, Kevin Ball. Boom.
No,
he's married to damn it, what's her name?
No.
He's married to Yes.
That's not Jason Momoa.
Oh, who are you talking about?
That's not
That's
Jason.
the villain.
No, it is not.
Well,
no.
Yes, it is.
No.
Veronica, that's her name.
Hold on, guys. We gotta sort this guy. That's Jason Momoa.
Guys, am I? No way. Are you being for real? I thought that was Kevin the whole time. That's why I hated
just
it
switched
so
it.
bad.
I don't know if
Wait,
you guys could see it. No,
are you being for real right
yes,
now?
That's Jason Momoa.
Wait.
Look right here. Look, Jason Momoa right there.
Oh
Dante.
my god. I literally thought they were the same person.
No. See, and I thought he did it. Oh, it only got 54% Rotten Tomatoes, so.
Oh my.
Clearly
They look
luckily
exactly
that movie.
alike though.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Wait. Where's that one picture
He's
I
right there.
literally just saw?
That's not him, and that's, yeah.
Okay, hold on. No, that doesn't. This looks like the same person. Okay, wait.
Because it is.
I just switched it.
I don't know. He did a good job. I thought he did a really good job.
Oh my god, there's no way that's not Kevin from Shameless. That's crazy.
He was a really good actor. There's another movie I want to see. It's something about Bo. What is it?
What?
It has to do with something about Bo. Let me look. But I heard it's like, I think it might be like an abstract movie. And I saw the Everything Everywhere
All at
once. And I hated it because it was abstract and I just didn't understand it at all. But there's a lot of mixed reviews in this movie.
They were together?
I don't know who that is.
Guys. Oops. Kevin from Shameless and the girl from Sex Life were married or together. Oh my gosh, married. That's insane.
Split after 11 years of marriage.
That's my she's from one of my favorite TV shows. It's called Sex Life.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's slightly inappropriate, but it's a good show.
The movie I'm talking about is Beau is Afraid. And like,
never heard of it.
Just so many mixed reviews. Like, I don't know if it's just
maybe it's so very controversial and
either
polarizing.
Controversial or so out there or like terrifying. I don't know. And it's 3 hours long, but I really want to see it. Yeah, I'm really into movies right now. So okay, so I've seen a lot of movies. What else? Still going on ride-alongs. I'm starting my job on Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday. Going to the gym. I want to go on a hike. I want to start hiking early in the morning. That's pretty much it.
Fucking hate hiking.
Girl. Are you still doing your monk diet?
Yeah, for the most part.
Sugar-wise?
Sugar, I took Izzy's birthday off, and I had sugar, and it literally hurt my stomach so bad. I was like, I'm never doing that again. So, yeah. And the other stuff, been pretty good about.
That didn't sound any...
Except for yesterday, and there was one other thing. Oh, and when I golf sometimes. And tonight I'm getting some Texas Roadhouse with my friends.
That sounds so good. Really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They better not have heard that.
I doubt it.
If they do, you have to beep it.
Yeah, I'll beep it.
All right. Oh my gosh, I don't have like a little sheet to say we did.
This.
Okay, perfect. If you guys wanted to know, anytime we have to cut something out in our podcast, we always hold up something so that we know that we need to cut it out.
I know when to clip it.
She knows to cut it out. All right, so
we're done. I've actually left some stuff in that.
Yep.
Should not have been in there.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right, so we're done talking about ourselves, guys. So our episode today is about childhood trauma. It's about, not childhood trauma, sorry, that was a bit extreme. Just the importance of childhood and how whatever happens in your childhood will end up...
Let's read what Maddie put here. Episode 6, the importance of childhood. How drama in your childhood haunts you your entire life, period.
A bit extreme.
Well, we know the views from Maddie over there. So
it's just, I don't know why. I just that was brainstorming. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. But
all right,
just childhood in general. So let's get this party started.
All right.
You gotta add in a sound effect when I go. Woo,
woo, woo. All right, hold up the thing right now. I gotta cut that.
You have to add sound effects.
Okay. And we're back.
All right. So childhood. Lays a foundation on how you act in certain situations that you are put in in adulthood. So I'd say stress, like how you react with stress, school, and a traumatic event, your fight or flight response, relationships, anything, pretty much anything.
I'll just say bottom line, if you have problems, it's 99% your parents' fault. Sorry.
Well, that's very, oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Environmental.
Right. They create your environment. They teach you whatever language you're going to speak. They, everything you do is based on what your parents taught you because your fundamental years were spent mostly with your parents. Unless that's not the case and they were spent with somebody else, then you're probably going to be influenced by them more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say the first 6 years is probably one of the most important years of growing up. You learn how to speak, you learn how to talk, You learn all of that actual fundamental things you have to learn when you are a
And that's
human.
when you're learning the most. You learn the most as a child, and then you decline over time. That's just
That's actually scientific. Yeah, I saw that. I read that. I saw that. Wait, shoot, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. You learn like what no means. You learn the negative responses to no. You learn things that are funny. You learn things that make you happy, things that make you sad. So it's a lot of emotions and logic and everything that goes into that.
Let's talk about our childhoods.
Okay.
And how they impact you. You can go first while I'm brainstorming.
Well, I have to brainstorm.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll go. Okay. So, I was actually thinking about this today. My childhood was very, actually my entire childhood, all 18 years till I moved out and went to college, they were very freedom-based.
Mm-hmm.
I had and got to make all of my own decisions. My parents did that on purpose. So from when I was a baby, when they would hand me a piece of food, they would put it in the middle of my body, and I'd get to decide which hand I get it with. So my two other sisters are both right-handed, so they chose to have their right hand. I chose to be left-handed, so I'm left-handed now. But, like, in contrast, my dad, his parents forced everything into his right hand, even though he was a lefty. So now he learned how to write left-handed again, because that's where he started, but his parents forced him to go to the right hand. He plays sports with both hands all the time. Like, it's very split and very difficult for him to, like, really gauge which hand he's supposed to use. So I feel like that's very, like, deciding, is not only what hand you use to, like, do everything in your life, but, like, what your parents give you freedom-wise.
Yeah,
and
like
that goes to everything. Yeah. That goes to, like, all the way up until you drive, and your parents are like, okay, you don't have a curfew, because, like, I never had a curfew. They said just be home by, like, whatever time and tell me what you're doing if you need to be out later. I'm like, okay. So that gave us the trust to where I'm like, okay, now I can text my parents if there's anything wrong, or if they need to come drive me somewhere, if I blew a tire or something crazy happened. That just gives you, like, trust and freedom. I feel like freedom and trust go together.
Yeah, I was the exact same way. I had, we're both lefties.
Yeah.
That's so funny to think about. This, like, has nothing to do with what you just said, but my mom, because both my parents are right-handed, so they would put the fork or something in my right hand, and I would switch it.
Really?
What is she doing? She's like, no, you hold it in your other hand and just switch it. So that's,
You're like, no, I'm not doing it.
Just left-handed. That's just how it worked. They're like, oh, interesting. But yeah, so I didn't have I'd probably go more like my younger age. I was definitely someone who was rebellious when I was a little kid. I always had to find, like, my huge thing was getting out of the front door. I don't know why, but
really?
Yes.
You're a runner.
I ended up learning. I was in Disneyland with a leash. I was that kid.
Oh,
I had a leash.
God.
I had a leash. I'm not kidding. I was just like,
that's insane.
I was just a wild child when I was little. So yeah, when I was younger, I finally figured out how to open the door. I figured out how to unlock it and open the door. So then my dad or my parents got the chain that's, like, on top. I would wait until my dad's asleep or something, and I'd go and get a chair and go on the chair and then try to get the lock. Like, that is how I was. I was just constantly moving, constantly never wanting to sit down and watch a TV. Like, I was all over the place always.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then I distinctly remember starting gymnastics when I was, I don't know, like 2. I think I was 2, and I used to push kids. Like, I just push.
You're a bully.
And my dad was like, don't ever say no to that because it shows leadership. I know it's, like, a little over the place, but it shows leadership.
You mean, like, pushing, like physically pushing
No,
somebody?
not like being mean, but like trying to show kids how to do something.
Oh.
So I was always told that's the leadership. So
yeah.
I grew up with that.
I can get that.
But the whole pushing thing, I ended up having to get 2 years ahead. So I was with a 4-year-old because I was aggressive.
Push the little kids,
I was
the
mean.
bigger kids around.
Yeah, I was wild when I was a little kid. I didn't have a curfew. It was a lot of trust. That's another thing I was always told was my dad used to always say, you have my trust in everything, but as soon as you break that trust,
it's gone forever.
Like, it's never going to be the same. And I knew that, and I never pushed that at all. So
I pushed it a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I pushed nothing. We always had that trust with each other. I told my parents everything. I still tell my parents everything. It's just like, it's not, first off, I get like anxious lying to my parents because I'm not going to get in trouble with whatever happens with what I did. So like, it's not worth it. But yeah, with the whole curfew thing, it was more, I just tell them what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one day I was out till like 4 a.m. with my friends, and I was just texting my parents. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go watch the sunset now. Like, we've been out till 4 a.m. And they're like, okay. They got up at like 8. They're like, oh, you're already home. I'm like, yeah.
I give myself a curfew.
Really?
Yeah, my curfew's 12:30.
What?
I get tired.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's been times I stayed up till 1 or 2, but it's definitely like...
High school, I was never tired. I was like...
No, I've always...
Go.
No. Like, I'm already 2 hours past my bedtime. Like, no.
Now, during summer, I go to sleep at like 11, 12.
I go to sleep at 1.
Like, that's so early for us.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, something my dad has always talked about. If you don't know by now, my dad had a lot of influence on me when I was a little kid.
My dad had a lot on me too.
It's like the daddy-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So something my dad has always told me was each kid has a light in their soul or in their body. Like, they have a little spark of light in them that's like innocence, happiness, feeling that nothing is wrong with the world, right? Like, think about it. Think of a little 4-year-old. Like, they don't think there's anything wrong with the world.
Happy,
and they shouldn't.
Rainbows,
yeah,
right?
they shouldn't. And it's the parent's job to protect that light and never let anyone destroy that light. Destroying that light could be any type of abuse, mental, physical, emotional, any type of abuse.
Telling their kids Santa's not real.
Just, right? It dims a little bit.
That's like the smallest thing you can do, but it's still something.
Yeah, I was talking about a little bit more. I guess the extremes your parent. Yeah, your parent telling them, or your mom or dad telling them that it's not real.
Especially at a young age.
Instead of just figuring it out on your own.
Right.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, like something that small can be very traumatic because about the whole light, kids see adults as heroes. Like, they are everything to you. Even if...
You're the authority.
Exactly. Even if, like, let's say 5 years older, you're still an adult to them. They don't know the difference. So they look up to you and they trust you in every aspect in life. Like... For an example, my nieces, right now we're trying to teach them how to swim, and they have the little floaties on right now, and my little niece will just go on the step and just hurtle her body to my dad. Just expect him to catch. Like, the trust they have, because they don't know anything different, is just crazy. That's just an example.
Well, I feel like I still have like a blind spot for my parents. Like, I don't think my dad or my mom can do anything wrong.
Well, no, but you
like, they can, but I also feel like I'm like, oh, my parents are the best. Like,
yeah, but right now, you learn, like, they also have struggles.
Right, they have struggles.
That's how you know you grew up, is learning that your parents also struggled. There's struggles in life, but when you're younger, oh no, like, they have everything figured out. They're never sad. They're never scared. No.
Right.
In Fast and Furious, that's what he said.
And a huge part that adds to that is if your parents fight in front of you or not.
Yep.
My parents never raised their voices in front of us.
Yep.
Never said mean words to each other in front of us. Like, everything was, they're going into their room and they're like, oh, we're going to go have a talk about our next vacation. They close the doors. That's when they would argue about whatever they need to argue about. Yeah. And then it would be over with, and they're done. Like, we can't feel the energy at all. Like, they just keep it completely away.
Yeah, that's I put that down where start talking about, like, relationships and how your childhood will affect relationships in your life, like love relationships, friends, personal,
especially
with yourself.
Love relationships, yeah.
Especially because when you're talking about your parents, the fighting, were your parents fighting in front of you? Did they get you involved? Were they, like, trying to be on my side? Or each other's sides. Like,
right. That was the first romantic relationship you've ever seen.
Seriously. That's
and
the biggest.
That's the one that you're going to be like, oh, that's exactly what I'm going to have.
It's the most important. And that's why it's scary when it comes to people that have parents that were divorced. Like, you see
fear of commitment,
relationships and commitment very differently.
Trust issues, all that.
You see it very differently.
My parents tell me all the time, they're like, both of your sisters are in committed relationships. What went wrong with you? And I was like, don't attack me. You guys didn't do anything wrong. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, that's all right. But see, and that kind of goes with, like, that's kind of your personality. But, yeah, definitely. Or let's say your parents did get in a divorce. Was it a peaceful divorce, or was it very, like, verbally or physically violent? Like, was it just
did they put
aggressive?
The kid on the stand and tell them to testify
Seriously.
against the parent? Like, that, like, that's some serious trauma.
Or what I know what happens sometimes in divorces, after they're divorced, some parent would be like, hey, your mom would say, your dad's being such a terrible person, your dad is so terrible, and you're just being told all of this, and now you see your dad differently.
Right. And you just see the worst of both parents, and you're like, this is terrible.
And then you're like, well, now I don't know what to do. It's trust, for sure. So, not only do relationships affect, like, your love relationship, it also affects your personal relationship.
Right.
And something that really would affect that is having siblings, and if one's being favored more than the other.
That's where I feel like that's where, like, bottom line insecurity comes from. It's first thing in your life is from siblings.
Constantly competing with your sibling.
So, okay, I actually have a story about this. Me and my older sister were 2 years apart, right? And they say that if you're within 2 years apart, you're more likely to be really competitive with each other. So, me and my older sister have always been so competitive, but she's not competitive with me. I'm competitive with her because I'm the younger one, and I'm like, I feel like I have something to prove. That's how my parents always described it when I was a child. And so there has been so many times where, like, I would, like, volleyball. Sid started playing volleyball. I started playing volleyball. I would have a private lesson every week, and I'd be like, I'm going to get better. I'm going to keep getting better. And I was like, okay, eventually we got to high school, right? And I was on a higher team than her. No shade. But that was my competitive genes being like, oh, I'm going to just keep one-upping.
Yeah.
Until my dad sat me down and he was like, the world is not about competing against your sister. You guys are at the age where it should be you two against everybody else. And I was like, okay, wait. So I kind of, like, my mind reset. That's where I got really close with my sisters.
Really?
And now it's like us three, and everyone else can go fuck off.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. My sister and I are 8 years apart, so it's a little different. It's more, I see all the mistakes that she did, and now I know what to do different, or the other way around. Yeah, being 8 years apart, like, I'm a middle schooler. Wait, how old are you? When you're 8, what is that? Elementary school still?
Yeah.
Elementary school, and she's already in high school. Like, it really wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't.
And, like,
really.
I feel like those lessons that you learn, you're like, I'm not gonna use these for a long time.
Right. So it's
like sit in the back of your head.
It's a little different. But when you're talking about having a sibling that is less than 2 years, older, younger,
or just like
in general,
yeah.
I have fear in that with the twins.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like. I don't want them
especially
to see.
Especially because they're twins.
Exactly. So, like, comparison is gonna happen.
Right.
It's just like they're gonna have strengths and weaknesses from each other, and I don't want to ever, like, for me, I don't ever want them to know that I'm comparing them with each other or thinking this twin is doing better than that twin. They're gonna be different.
Because it also goes along with, like, as much as we want to say physical appearance doesn't matter, it does. And since they're identical, that's gonna be even harder for them. Like, me and my older sister, we used to look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same colored hair, blonde, blue eyes, same everything, same sport. Literally, people would ask us if we're twins, and, like, I feel like that is also really hard for you, especially when you go home and then your parents are like, oh, what did you get on your test, Sam? What did you get on your test, Sid? And, like, the one that did worse obviously feels like shit, because even though you're not in the same grade, you're like, oh, I'm just doing terrible and my sister's doing great. Like,
exactly.
So you just have to have that turning point where you're like, okay, it's not about comparison between the siblings. It's about your family, and you're all trying to be the best that you can be together.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just hard because you're also really close to your siblings, or sometimes or it depends on your relationship with your siblings, but you could be really close to them, and you don't want to break that. But I don't know. I for myself want to make sure that I'm never comparing those two, because they're already so different.
Right.
Like, they're so different. They already have different strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. That's how they should be.
I can already tell.
It'd be scary if they were the same.
Exactly. Another thing I'd say that affects your personal relationship with yourself is, were you given false confidence, or were you given no confidence at all? Like that.
Were you given a participation award in school for doing terrible jobs?
That gives you, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
That seriously changes a lot. But I do feel like, and this goes with affecting your childhood. Oops, sorry guys, sorry. I just I have to fidget with something. Like, I'm already reaching on so stupid. Okay. So that, how childhood affects your adulthood, I feel like in college it's kind of a reality check that you're not the best. You start see, if you were given those participation awards, you kind of see well, wow, there's a lot of people that are better than me.
The mommy goggles come off because your mom isn't telling you how amazing you are every day.
There's going to be people that are better than you, and that
you are going to walk in a room every single day for the rest of your life after you graduate, and there will be someone smarter than you, and there will be someone stupider than you, and there will be someone prettier than you, and there will be someone uglier than you. You just have to understand that.
Yeah.
Because in most cases, it's true.
Yeah. But, again, childhood, how are you going to be affected by that?
Right.
Is it going to crush you when you start realizing that you're never... Yeah. That you're never being...
You're not being praised anymore.
The stereotype is being, an only child.
Oh, my God.
You can always see the difference between knowing that you were an only child. I still can. I can still see it.
Yeah.
The way someone acts, that goes with adulthood. You can tell when someone was treated as if they were the only child, or if they were the only child. They were just constantly given whatever they want. And they still act like that. They still act like that in this.
I've seen that. Okay,
adulthood.
That is true for 95% of only children. But I know this one only child. He's a boy, and I've been friends with him since we were in kindergarten. We've transferred schools together, everything, and he is the most not only child I've ever met.
Really?
Just because his parents are such good people, and they know if you spoil an only child, they're gonna expect that forever.
Yeah.
Because they don't have their siblings to keep them in check.
Yeah.
And be
exactly.
Stop doing that.
Exactly.
Shit.
Or even having siblings, you have to balance the.
Right.
The Christmases,
oh my gosh,
stuff like that.
My parents balance it to the dollar because they know
really?
Yes, to the dollar. I literally, my mom has a spreadsheet. She adds it up. She's like, okay, Sammy got 200 something, and Izzy's gonna get this, and then she's gonna get $23 in cash, and then
oh my gosh,
it's insane.
That's funny.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. I kind of like how you guys are all close to age. It's kind of cool.
I like it. I think it's really good because we can all see each other growing up and look back on. Yeah, it's a lot of support.
That's really cool. Childhood definitely builds your identity.
Oh yeah.
Right? That is the start.
Yep.
That your identity starts growing as soon as you have the ability to sit up, honestly.
Right. And it's not only what your parents are teaching you, it's what you see your parents do. Yep. So, if your parents are okay, you need to be honest and you need to tell the truth and not lie, but then you're sitting in the back of the car and you hear your parents lying, you're going to be oh, that's okay, I can lie too.
Yep.
And because kids can understand a lot more than people think they can.
Yes.
And it's actually,
and
it's
they
insane.
Listen.
Yeah. They listen more than anything.
Yes, a lot of listening.
And they know what's going on. Kids are not stupid.
No.
They're the fastest learners in the world.
Yeah.
So I feel truly, if you want to be an amazing parent, you have to take every single thing you do into account and be this is what my child is seeing. This is how they're seeing it. And they think everything I'm telling them is good and true.
Something, it's just an easy example to think of. You have a parent that cusses. That little kid is going to slip up that first time because they don't know that is wrong.
Right.
And then that's when the parents like, oh no, you don't say that, blah, 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 blah. Like that clearly shows that they are listening to every single thing you're saying. And they didn't know.
A lot of parents don't even realize that. And they're like, oh, when did they hear them say that? Did another kid say that at school?
No.
Or like, is their teacher saying that? No, it's you.
It's you. Yeah.
And they think everything you do is perfect because you're their parent.
Yeah. They just don't know the difference. Or like something that was huge on like my family was the news. Like this doesn't really make sense. And I there's nothing wrong with this. It's just how I grew up, and I see that it's different from other families. Both my parents are in the medical field, so they see a different part of life. They see a more scary, negative,
right,
violent type of life, right? And like for me, a lot of anxiety grew from that. Was knowing like about car accidents, like that was huge because
did they tell you about it?
Yeah. I heard a lot about car accidents. And it's not like they were doing anything wrong with it. It's just it really got into my head. Like, I didn't start driving until 6 months after I turned 16 because I was so scared about car accidents. I still am. Like, I'm still terrified to get in a car accident. And that's just because my parents have gone on so many calls about terrible car accidents. And it just freaks me out.
And they share with each other, right?
Yeah, it just freaks me out. But, like, I think that fear also can be a good thing because it feared me to always put on my seatbelt.
Right.
I will forever have my seatbelt on because of hearing the amount of times that it's saved someone's life. So I think fear can also be a good thing, but it can also cause some issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just like her parents were in the medical field, my dad was in the corporate banking field, whatever you want to call it. And the stories that I would hear from him are, my life is so stressful. I hate my job. Everybody's a piece of shit. Like, he was dealing with the worst people ever. Like, terrible people. Maddie's parents were dealing with terrible situations. My dad was dealing with not trustworthy people.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm scared of now, is going into the corporate world.
Yeah.
And having to deal with all those shitty things and people. So that is, like, the last thing I ever want to do. Just like how you wear your seatbelt all the time. I'm like, I'm not working a 9 to 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
See, it's just like, you learn stuff differently from whatever your parents said and kind of what you grew up with.
Right.
Trauma.
Oh, I have a good one for this.
So, trauma is something that you will never, ever, I don't want to say not have, but never not, you will experience trauma at least once in your life. It's just, it's bound to happen.
It happens a lot, though.
It's just, someone will always have some traumatic story that they have experienced before, and it will probably haunt them till the day they die. It's just how it is. But that really shapes you in some way.
Yeah.
Like, it
100%.
really just takes a chunk out of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Have you heard of the inner child? Your inner child? Have I told you about that before?
No.
Okay, so basically, like, there's this piece of, like, your subconscious that's, like, your inner child, and it's everything that we've been talking about, the first 6 years, whatever, of your life, that shaped how your subconscious mind is. Because it was blank when you first came into the world.
Yeah.
So, basically, I did this meditation in my dorm. Remember when I did that?
Yes, I do. And
it was inner child healing. So I go into my meditation. This guy, like, completely leads you through it. And I didn't think I had child trauma because I thought my childhood was golden. Nothing was wrong, whatever. I was like, I'm just going to see what happened in there. So I go and I see my literal child self in a corner crying, like, in a ball. And I was like, immediately I knew exactly what it was from. And I was like, that's from when I was stuck behind a couch when I was 5 years old. And immediately my brain just went to, that's why you can't commit to anything. That's why you can't commit to a relationship. That's why you can't commit to friendships for more than however many years. And all these things. And I just was, like, thinking all about it. I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, just that one experience can shape everything you're doing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's, like, pretty much the whole job of therapy.
Right.
Like,
it's to heal that.
It's to dig it, find it. Because usually I think when you're a kid, or just for some reason for traumatic experiences, a lot of suppression happens.
You
suppress it. You just completely forget about it. Yeah. You just don't, because it's terrible. Why would you want to keep thinking about some terrible thing that happened? Your body's in like
survival protective mode.
That's what it is. It's protective mode. You just completely suppress it. And for therapy, but what ends up happening with the stuff that you suppressed, it finds its way somehow when you get older by, let's say, having commitment issues.
Right. Because I felt like I was trapped in the moment. Exactly. And I don't want to be trapped again.
And it could honestly be, trauma can be anything, honestly. But therapy does a good job at opening someone up and figuring out what actually happened and then how you're dealing with it now and then ways to fix that. I've never tried therapy, so I wouldn't know, but I hear it's really good.
I've tried therapy one time and I don't like it, so...
Yeah, it's different for everybody, but that's like the point of therapy, is finding ways to heal. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that happened that was pretty traumatic when I was a little kid. I know that I've had a lot of more like traumatic events being older.
Yeah, you have.
But like more being like a young teen, like
13.
Terrible, 12. Just a lot. But like being a little kid, I don't really remember. I honestly think it's because a lot of stuff that was happening with my family, I was never around. Like my parents did a good job at just.
That's good.
All right, go play in your room. I think it was a lot of that. Like something I can think about was, it's dumb, but it freaks me out. I was learning how to swim, and like I was young and I didn't know how to swim yet, and I was reaching for a pool floaty and I fell in, and
that's trauma.
Yeah, and I'm like drowning. I'm pretty much about to drown. Yeah. And my mom was cooking hot dogs and she saw me, like, heard the splash, and she just like ran in there and picked me up and got me. But like I wasn't willing to swim until I was probably 7. I didn't learn
just because of that.
Yeah, I did not learn how to swim until I was probably 7 because it was so scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't really think of anything else that was really.
Oh, my mom's best friend, she is terrified of flying because when she was in first grade, her parents, she had a lot of inner family problems, like very, very bad problems. But when she was in first grade, her parents one day said, okay, since you told the rest of our family about our problems, because she was trying to get help from the rest of her family, she was like, okay, we're moving to Florida. Packed up, flew on the plane, landed in Florida. She didn't get to see the rest of her family and tell them about it anymore.
That's crazy.
So she has a terrified fear of flying now.
Looks like you have a hair filter on.
Ew!
Wait, what were we talking about?
Guys, this was me 1 year ago today.
1 year ago.
Fucking
Did I graduate? Wait, something happened a year ago. I can't remember. Okay, so trauma is probably not the only thing that you really think about a lot when you were a kid, but like
hopefully not.
You get a lot of vivid memories when you were a little kid. And I want to ask you, what's like a very, like if I say, what is a specific memory you have with your family? Like what is the first thing you think about when you're a kid?
With my family.
Like the first memory you think about.
Oh my god. This is only because I saw pictures of this like recently.
Okay.
But I actually have 2. One is when I was playing like Icebreakers, you know, like the game where you hit the thing and like the sheet, like the cubes of ice, and like it's
like a whack-a-mole type thing.
No, it's just like one layer of like these cubes, and you hit one at a time
until
it all falls.
Yeah, actually, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I was playing that, and my older sister was recording on like her little 2010 camera, and she was recording, like zooming in on everybody, and she puts it on me, and I just give her the nastiest look, and I'm like, stop recording me. I'm just like a total brat. She like flips the camera, and she's like making a fucking weird ass face, and that's like I remember that, like I really? Know that was a thing. And then the other one was, fuck, I just forgot it. I can say yours. Yeah. Say yours. I'll think of it.
A vivid memory I always think about, or like anytime I think about my family, was this time I was with my my family friends, and I think it was Sedona. I could be wrong, but I think it was Sedona, and there was a creek, and they were going, not dirt bike, quadding. They were going quadding. And I was too young to do that, so I didn't do it. I did a little bit with my dad, but I didn't really do it. But I had a friend there, and she had a Barbie pink purple Jeep, and we were like the electric little kid cars, like we were driving in that thing.
I had a Ferrari.
Oh my god, that's so funny. And there was a creek, and there was tadpoles, and we were like I can remember we used to try like catch them and like put them in their little cup and stuff. Like that is just such a good memory I always think about for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, my other one is so in my old house, like our smaller house, there was 3 bedrooms and then the master bedroom. So there's 3 of us, and we were each planning on having our own room, but we turned one of them into like a playroom. We had like a whole whiteboard wall and all that. So my little sister moved in with my older sister because I was like, fuck you guys, I want my own room. And then my little sister, we got super close one weekend. She stopped biting me for a weekend. So we got like best friends, right? I'm like, okay, we're good. Me and Izzy are hanging out. And then she comes up to me one day, hey, can I move into your room? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, you know what? We're friends now. Whatever. Let's do it. So I remember the first night, I had this massive room. My room was fucking huge, like bigger than every other room in the house. And I remember my parents moving my bed into the middle of the room right next to Izzy's twin bed. And she's just sitting there under the covers. Her hair's like a fucking mess. And she's under the covers. She's like scheming. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do to me tonight? Like, I'm so scared. Like, that's all I remember of it. It's like Izzy's just like under her covers, like eyes out. Like,
that's so funny.
Like, she's always been an evil child.
That is so funny. I love that. How far apart in age are you guys?
Me and Izzy are 3 years, well, 2.5, and then me and Sid are just under 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's really funny.
And Sid and Izzy actually is a really strange relationship. Like, I don't even know. Like, I can't even describe the relationship because they're 5 years apart. Like, that's a big gap. Mm-hmm. But it's not a bad thing. I just don't even know what's going on there.
And because you guys are closer in age, it kind of is, like, you guys are going to be a little bit closer, or Izzy in general is going to be closer to you.
Right.
So.
Because we have more to talk about and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we talk about this a lot in our podcast, but it really is relevant, and
it's relevant in everything.
Is continuing to grow and grow and grow, but it's social media and how that affects your childhood. Again, I think this is more, well, let's say, in my opinion, I don't think anyone younger than 13 should ever have a phone. Or be on social media.
Right. I think a phone is okay, but social media, that is, you're playing with fire there.
Like there's just so much growth that's happening during that time. There's no reason for anyone younger than 13 should have a phone.
And it's literally, like, the 2 worst things about social media is it makes you feel insecure, and 2, the amount of dopamine you get from that little tiny device is addicting. And when you're in an early stage like that, you can learn to get addicted, and that's
addicting.
It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. It's very addicting, and that's something that I think that should be shied. Shade. Shied. Not shown to kids. What's that word?
I don't know.
Shied away? What's that phrase? Shied away?
Hidden?
Should be shied away.
I think so.
That's not right.
That's not right.
Shield.
No.
Avoid doing something because...
the newspapers have shied away from investigating the story.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but like social media should not be shown to little kids like that. Because it's addicting. And when you're learning, you don't know what's a lot from right from wrong, so you don't want to do something that will end up affecting you in the future, like with jobs and school and stuff like that.
And I feel like we were the last ones to get out of the social media craze.
I truly think we were the last one.
We were like the year before it all went to shit.
Seriously. Like 2004, or you're 2004, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2004 was the last one.
Right.
Like 2005 was too much.
I didn't get Instagram till I was in 7th grade. And I feel like
How old are
I was
you?
13.
Okay.
12, 13.
I was 13 too, yeah.
Like, that was the last of it. And
Yeah.
like you said, if you're earlier than 13, 12 years old, you shouldn't have social media.
Yep.
I got it right at that time.
My parents didn't let me have it until I was 13. But it was more like my friends didn't really have it.
Yeah, my friends didn't really have it either till then.
It was more like I was more begging for it because I had older friends. They were a
Not
year
even my
or two
older
older
sister
than me.
had it till I did.
Really?
Like, I feel like, especially where I lived, that was like that year was everybody got Instagram. Everyone's following each other. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad now, but still, I don't care what happens. My kids are not having social media until
now,
they're
like,
older.
my younger sister and her friends have grown up so fast.
Yeah, it makes
Like,
me sad.
so fast. Their freshman year things that they were doing were, like, my junior year things.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on exponentially
Just
getting worse.
Childhood, everything is just
Right.
being dismissed and shortened for some reason. Because that's the whole thing with middle schoolers always wanting to grow up and be adults.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want to be. Promise you that.
I was that middle schooler. I literally just broke this
Girl!
thing.
It's like a magic trick.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe I fixed it.
It's fine.
No, not really. It's okay.
But yeah, social media is just terrible for everybody.
Should we play a fun game?
What game should we play?
We're gonna flip a coin to see if I should text him.
This is so stupid, guys. She doesn't listen to me.
I think this is a great
I just want
game.
you guys to know
And
she
I'm
doesn't listen to me.
entertaining the audience.
All right, guys, what are you gonna pick? Comment heads or tails. in
Okay,
the
let's
comments
decide.
below.
Ready?
I'm
Heads. I'm gonna text him. Tails, I won't. That's what I was feeling. Okay.
You gotta show him first.
Heads. That's a yes. That's a yes from the universe. Should we do double or nothing? No.
No.
I will.
We're gonna see how that goes.
I might not, but probably will. Probably will.
But now it's your option. You
Right.
have an option to
It's
do
up
it.
to me.
So you have time? 2 weeks. Oh, we're getting booted out.
I apologize if you're recording. We close in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're almost done.
So, alright.
Okay, thank you.
Add
So
that.
bad.
You better add that in. Keep that in. All right, so we just got booted out of here. We've
Yeah.
been talking for way too much. It has to be like at least an hour long.
Well, yeah, but we also had a call and that stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be okay.
We're gonna get booted out of here. Gotta get booted out of here.
Booted out of here.
Our next episode is gonna be talking about the teenage midlife crisis.
Yeah. All right. P.S. Tattoo. It just cut out. Okay, bye,
All right,
guys.
bye guys. See ya.